John David Washington, help me, please. Hey everyone, I'm Jay, and this is Walt. Walt is our new puppy. He's a dachshund. He's joined the family, and today he's gonna help me review Tenet since Sean isn't here. So he is shivering, and so am I, because Tenet, wow. Tenet is a bit of a difficult watch. I mean, we knew that going in, right? It's Christopher Nolan. He never lets us off easy. But this is definitely the Nolanist Christopher Nolan you've ever seen. It's like all of the concepts he's been toying with in his mind all these years, he shoved them all into this movie. He makes it work, but he makes us work even harder. Oh my gosh. So basic premise is the protagonist. That's what we're calling John David Washington. Yes, he is Denzel's son. He is the protagonist of this mission. So he is some kind of operative. It is his job to stop the world from ending. Just a little old thing like that. There's a Russian oligarch played by Kenneth Branagh, and his wife in the film played by Elizabeth Debicki. So these are the big players. And it seems that this Russian oligarch has got his hands on something radical. Something way worse than like the atomic bomb. The World War III is not going to be nuclear as we all feared. It's something much worse and harder to stop. I mean, I slept on it and I don't think that helped. Not as much as I needed. I really super needed some help on this one. And you know, watching Christopher Nolan film, you get hypnotized, right? He puts you in this almost dream state. And I feel that way a lot because I'm an insomniac. So a lot of the times I will go 36, 48, even more hours without sleeping. And that is very hard on you, mind and body. After about 18 hours, you are mentally so impaired you may as well be drunk, and you should not legally be driving. And yet I am living my life much worse than that most of the time. And when I'm up all night by myself, I do a lot of reading. I do a fair amount of trash reading, the old beach reads that you can get through, believe me, 2 or 3 of those in a night. But I like to throw in an occasional book for my own personal edification. So I might be reading a book on, say, string theory, which is way over my head normally. I'm not ashamed to tell you that. I'm a little ashamed. It's complex stuff, but your mind, when it is completely sleepless, you get these little wormholes where you start really believing in yourself, and you're like, I think I get it. Am I a genius all this time? String theory, of course. It's like quantum physics, and you get down to the particle, and it's like a one-dimensional string through space, and you start, connecting everything in your mind because everything is connected and we are all one, and I am the Eggman, and then you're like, wait, I didn't get it. No, I thought I did, but no, I'm just super tired and sort of high. Gosh, watching this movie, watching Tenet, is a lot like that, where I had moments of overconfidence, like, I'm getting it, guys. Like, I thought I was hopelessly lost, but no, I've cracked the code. I'm in there deep, and I'm doing it. But you know what? I wasn't doing it, was I, Walt? I wasn't doing it. And then I'd realize that I wasn't doing it, and I'd get so discouraged, and, you start free-falling, and this is not the time for free falling. You've got to be on your toes watching a movie like this. It is complex stuff, and it doesn't allow you any time for processing. You just get hypnotized immediately, you are in this other world, and you better start accepting the new rules of this universe. So yeah, Nolan is playing with time and with space and with non-linear arcs. And I could almost smell that burnt, smoky smell of my brain on fire as it's trying so hard to keep up to all of these mental processes that have to keep happening simultaneously just to follow along. John David Washington, help me, please. He is helped in the movie by Robert Pattinson, who is really good in the movie. Everyone is really good. You'll see even Michael Caine, of course. That's Christopher Nolan's good luck charm in the movie, who's looking great, doing well. So we see a lot of Clémence Poésy pops up for a minute. Everybody, though, nobody is being as helpful as I would like. You know what I mean? Like, I needed help. I'm desperate for it. And no, everything was just another layer of confusion. So I definitely think this is the kind of movie where even if you hated it, and it's okay if you don't like it, it's okay if it's not for you. It's also okay to just give it a try, and maybe even if some of the finer points of the story remain elusive, are you giving me ear numbers? You might still enjoy it just for the great performances and the stunning visuals and the Oscar that I am sure the editor is going to receive for the very hard work of editing this kind of story. And of course, Christopher Nolan. The kinds of ideas that come out of this man's brain. I mean, he has been obviously a boon to cinema. I can't help but wonder if he should have gone into like some sort of theoretical physics, that he may have missed his calling, and obviously just for humanity's sake that may have had a greater impact. But we got him in film and we love him for it. Walt. We do love him for it, and even Walt loves him. Yeah, and you haven't even seen Inception. Gosh, it's just a lot. But you have to know that going in. Don't be too hard on yourself. You have to get through this first watch. Just think of it. This is like your homework. You have to get through this first watch, and you will watch it just totally helpless and hopeless. But get through it, because then you'll see it a second and third time. And just like Inception, you see new layers when you're watching with that understanding, and you just need that base that's a little bit tough to get through. This movie does make you work for it, and so in many ways movies are more rewarding when you have worked so hard to get through them. Not to get through them. It's still Nolan. He's great. Everyone in the movie is great. Everyone's operating at peak, and the movie is non-stop. So, it is not a chore to get through it. It can feel overwhelming. Just my brain is so linear. Obviously, we have built constructs of time around this fallacy of linear thinking, and it's hard to get outside of that box, even though this story is demanding it. And it was tough. It was really tough for me. So you just have to go in knowing that everything is something. Pay attention. Pay attention to the title. Pay attention to the movie poster. Never let your guard down, because everything is something and nothing is nothing. And the more nothing it seems, the more something it is. That's what you realize when you're getting towards the end. You're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could go back and watch all of this again, knowing what I know now. So yeah, it does reward you for that watch, even if it is also a little bit punishing you. But that's, that's Christopher Nolan. That's the brilliance of his cinema, of his ideas. I'm not sure that this is going to be the movie that saves summer blockbusters, though. A summer blockbuster is like a beach read, just a trashy novel, a summer romance. You read 3 or 4 of them in a night and throw them away. But this movie is more like Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce, which most of you haven't read. I read, just like I watched this movie, and it nearly broke me. James Joyce clearly hated humanity and wanted to leave this little act of sadomasochism before he passed. It is a tome, an epic tome, Idioglossia, do you know what that is? That means he made up his own language. It is English based. There are English root words to it. He also abhors punctuation. So it's just like gazillion pages of run-on sentence and made up words. And some of those words, in fact, many of those words are 100 letters long. Talk about opaque. This guy doesn't want you to be able to read him. And this movie by Chris Nolan feels like that same sort of thing. Like, you know those little assholes who back into a parking space just because they can and they're kind of show-offs and they're like, oh yeah, I could pull in just like everyone else, but I won't. Well, Chris Nolan, you're that dick. And Tenet is his big fat pickup truck. He is backing that shit in. And yeah, all you have to do is stand back and admire. You can kind of hate him for it, but you kind of, you know, it's Chris Nolan. That's why we love him. So Tenet, yeah. I mean, this is a super spoiler-free review because you cannot spoil things you didn't understand. Thanks, Walt. Oh, gosh. So you can tell I'm missing Sean. Not that, I don't know. Not that he would be adding anything good to this review. I think he would just be also nodding in like a glazed, man, this one was rough. Should we go see it again? Should I re-review it when I've seen it like 14 more times? Oh, Walt says yes. Oh, Walt. Oh, yes. He's an enabler. Anyways, thank you so much for sticking through this review with me. The review is hard to watch as the movie. Maybe, yes, and I'm so sorry I don't have my regular camera guy. I'm missing a whole lot of stuff today. But I'm so glad we finally, you know, broke the ice. COVID, this pandemic, shut down movies like never before. And I don't know that this is the movie that we needed. It's the movie that we got. It's the movie we have been highly anticipating. It is not crazy audience friendly. But yeah, only time will tell whether people enjoy the challenge or resent Mr. Nolan for making something so obtuse. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.